there, my lovely Patreon members. So today I'm going to do kind of a fun, it's a pattern video. So I'm just going to talk about patterns. So I have quite a few patterns. I have bins of patterns, as like most people do, really. I think that anybody who likes to sew and likes to build garb, you kind of end up with a lot of patterns. So I'm going to kind of just go through some. I got some new ones today that I didn't have, and the reason that I'm kind of doing this is I am sprucing up my work wardrobe. So I make Victorian-esque type styled professional clothing for myself at work, because if I were going to default to work clothes, I would wear jeans and t-shirts, or today I am wearing a nice cashmere sweater and a pair of jeans. And that's what I would wear all the time. But I work in a profession where I kind of have to dress professional and nice. And I don't like modern professional clothing. I don't like pencil skirts. I don't like heels. I don't like being uncomfortable. So I make things that make me feel comfortable. So the last couple days I've been doing some sketches in my sketchbook, and I've been drawing myself some blouses and some vest ideas. And I'm doing myself a new petticoat. I have some silk fabric. I'm going to do a new petticoat. More blouse kind of patterns, ideas. And then you may have seen this because this was posted on Patreon. And this is my vest drawing. And I already made one vest, and I have a blue wool one I'm making. But I want to make some blouses. So some books that I have found really helpful with this Victorian inspired modern clothing trend is Victorian Fashions. I love this book. It has some amazing images that I can just sketch right from. Victorian Fashion Patterns. This is actually one I got last year. I haven't really used it much, but I like that it gives me the shape of some of the patterns, so that when I take a modern pattern, I can eyeball it and look at where I need to change it for a more historical look. Undergarments. So undergarment patterns, one of my favorite undergarment patterns is a BUTTERICK 3263. It's an older one. As you can see, it says Hancock Fabrics. I actually found this at Goodwill, I think. I don't even know how many years ago. And I used that one. I made myself a house dress using this pattern. It's a McCall's pattern M4548. And if you look at it, it is almost identical to this pattern. And this one I got on Etsy. So I've actually made that one. I have a wearing history pattern for a camisole, which I have made this a couple times, and I actually don't like it very much. I've made this one, but I just don't like the way it sits. It's not as comfortable, and I found that it doesn't really cover the corset very well. And I don't wear a corset most of the time, just so you know. I did find some success with the black snail patterns. I got those on Etsy. I don't actually have a picture of this one, but this one is the Victorian split drawers. The black snail blouse shirt pattern, I've actually made that. It's okay. Not my favorite, but it's okay. The black snail fan skirt I have not made yet. That's actually on my list to make. I have a random thing that says Victorian style blouse, but no picture, so I have no idea what it's supposed to look like. This one, the black snail blouse pattern, I have not made yet. I actually got the skirt and the black snail blouse pattern to actually go together with a vest, so I will be trying that out. Now, I have shirt patterns, and I've actually made this Western shirt with a modification to fit a little bit more Victorian-esque. So the scoop collar on it is the one that I made, and I made it long sleeves, and I made the sleeve cap a little bit bigger so it had a puff, and I made longer cuffs with it. Now, I made it, it turned out great, except it was a half size too small for me because I did not account for proper seam allowance, and that was entirely my fault. So it ended up going to Goodwill. It's a perfectly functional shirt. But I do plan on using that pattern again and trying it. Though, today, I found a beautiful Butterick blouse pattern. And the reason I bought this is that it has all these different options for necklines so that I could get one that has a really high collar. So I'm going to be trying some matching patterns, because I do that, to create the look that I'm looking for. The other thing I found today, which I have actually looked at this on Etsy, and I got this pattern for $3 at Joann's, and I couldn't find it anywhere for anything less than $6 or $7 online, so I went ahead and bought it. And it gives me this one right here, which is the one I want to make. And I've been looking at it for a while, so that pattern is very exciting to me. I also purchased this pattern for $3, and this I got because I liked the jacket, and it comes with a skirt pattern. So it's another alternative skirt pattern to the ones that I have. All of the Victorian styled work skirts that I've made so far to all of my ensembles are my own pattern. I've just figured it out, and it has a square, literally a rectangular pattern for the front, and then the two side pieces that attach in the back are flat pleated, box pleated evenly all the way around, and then I end up cutting a slit to put a pocket in right at the edge of that wide rectangular flat piece, because I wanted a flat front with a gathered back. I've seen a lot of those Victorian type skirts, and I had no pattern, so I had to figure it out. And I will say that my last two skirts following that pattern turned out magnificently, and I love them. They're very comfortable, but my first two are my favorite fabrics, but they didn't turn out very well, and I can't get that fabric anymore. So I wear them anyway, because even though they don't look great, they are my favorite fabric. So this one has a totally different skirt, and it looks like it has one front panel, like what I made, only much narrower, and two side pieces and then two back pieces. So they're more gored, basically. You have more gores, skirt pieces to put together to accommodate for a pocket. So I'm excited to try this one to see if it gives me a similar look, or more of a little bit later than the style skirt I've been making that's a little bit more straight. So I'm excited to try that. I then also, this summer, over and over and over again, wished that I had a summer weight flowy dress. And so I bought this with the idea that I would make myself something like this. I'm not big into the frilly lace front, but I liked the idea of a summer weight flowing cotton gown or bodice and skirt ensemble. So I want to make that for next year. And then I went on the search for a women's vest pattern. Now, if you've seen the pictures that are already posted on Patreon about the vest that I made, the green one, I'm making a blue one that is similar with a slightly different collar. I really want a double-breasted vest, and I could not find a women's pattern at the store today that was a double-breasted pattern. I couldn't find one anywhere. So I settled on a men's vest pattern here and a men's vest pattern here. And this is not double-breasted. This is just a regular men's vest. But this one does have this double-breasted looking vest. And I thought it would be completely doable to take this vest pattern and make a mock-up, put the, tighten it up so it fits me, and making myself a double-breasted vest. So those are kind of the patterns montage of patterns to use to create a modern but inspired by Victorian clothing, work clothing. And this year I really want to have more shirts. I have currently 2 shirts that fit really, really well. One of them, though, in the picture that is posted on Patreon, it's got the wide bottom sleeves, kind of decorative. And that works great for on a day that I don't want to wear my jacket or a wrap and it's warmer. But for winter, I really need some good sturdy cotton or linen even blouses to go under my ensembles that actually fit under the vest as well as under the jackets that I have made. And I want to make a couple more jackets of a little bit larger size. The current jackets that I have fit exactly well, and I need some that have a little bit more give. Not so much that they don't look fitted, but so that I can move in them a little bit better. And I have a corset that I had custom made, but I think I have worn it maybe 4 or 5 times. It's just not something that I'm comfortable in. And again, I like to wear things to look pretty, but I also need to be comfortable in them. And though the corset I have is custom made and it is comfortable, it isn't still yet a go-to thing, and I don't know if I'm ever going to get there, but it's definitely something that I have should I want to make a really nice Victorian gown to maybe cosplay in or go to costume college one day, you know, things like that. So it's on the list of the to-dos, but I really wanted to get a video out to show you some of the patterns that I use that inspire my work clothes that I actually do work in at work in a doctor's office that look professional and look nice and make me feel good. I've always been inspired to create my own fashion. A long time ago, I lived in the South, and I went through a phase where I tore apart clothing from Goodwill and sewed it back together again to make my own fashion, my own sense of clothing. And yeah, I got looked at a little strangely and people didn't really understand, but I've always followed my own fashion sense. I've always followed what interests me and what I think looks nice. And I've never been big in following trends, fashion trends. As a matter of fact, there's a fashion trend going around right now that I think looks absolutely hideous. It's high-waisted pants that are baggy, a size too big for somebody, and then pulled up at the bottom, rents in them, and huge cuffs. And everybody so far that I've seen wear them looks like Urkel, if anybody remembers that show. It's terrible. And everybody's wearing it. Again, my fashion sense and somebody else's is not the same. Okay, so hopefully this inspires you, and thank you very much for subscribing to my Patreon account, and I look forward to your input. Have a beautiful day.